Hey everyone, welcome to my Spectre Stacking Absolution of Inspiring build guide. This is likely my final build of the league, and it's also the strongest one I've created this season. It's a well-rounded beast with extremely high DPS, tankiness, and fast with screen-wide OLE. It can literally handle any content, except Titanic Blade, which I haven't done because my potato laptop can't handle the lag. Now, let's take a look at some of the highlights this build offers.
Let the blood dance begin! Tight tethers! Yield and fight on! Handle this! Struggle or strangle! Time to up the stakes! A veil of safety and security! Twin terrors! Oh, a glorious spectre!
Your absurd defiance ends here, hatchling.
We will win this together!
Incineration. Surprises. It is not likely you can win, hatchling. Riding mass. Consume.
Be gone!
Riding mass. Liars escape from play. Punishment inescapable.
Arrogant toy! Death will not be an escape. Scurry! Scurry! A cascade of pain! Cascade of pain! Stand still! Holy fire!
The living toy must enjoy.
Sin surrounds you.
Goodness me!
No!
Defeat it for me!
How? This isn't over. This will never be over. I will unify humanity.
Reign of Stars.
Death, my heart races. I am
Out chaos. Sacrifice.
Irrelevant. I will not be made a fool. agent of chaos.
You shall be remade!
Open.
Be gone! You will know pain! Be gone! I will bathe this world in blood! Impressive, but futile. Inevitable.
Never
Resist the assault! Life
Mortal.
is so brittle. Amount of my might. Resist the assault. Mortal flesh is so fallible.
feed.
Amount of my might.
Give your
Mortal flesh is so fallible.
Kulamak.
Grasp your mortality tightly. Resist the assault.
Give your soul to
Amount of my might.
Kulamak.
Life is so brittle.
Defied well. No escape.
The core of this build revolves around two unique items, Wraithlord and Bitterbind Point. These uniques allow us to summon several specters, each providing a variety of powerful buffs. If you want to learn more about this mechanic, check out my video on Bitterbind Point and Spectre Stacking linked in the description. Some of you might underestimate the power of Spectre buffs and think this build is a bait. So in this section, I'll give you more insight into just how impactful these buffs really are. As you can see here, I'm using 5 Spectres for damage buffs. These buffs look pretty juicy, right? But do you know just how much damage the build gains from them? If you go to the POB and disable all the Spectres, you'll notice the DPS drops by about 75%. This means our Spectres are providing a massive 300% more damage to the build. The remaining 3 Spectres are focused on defensive buffs. 2 of them are fairly popular and widely used, but the last one, Perfect Judgment Spirit, is particularly interesting. Its aura, Discipline, scales exceptionally well with Spectre levels. At Spectre Gem level 28, its aura is equivalent to a level 32 Discipline, providing a significant boost to the build's effective hit pool. Overall, in this build, the Spectre buffs provide a massive 300% more damage and an 80% increase to effective hit pool. Now, let's take a look at the defensive layers of this build. Everything is straightforward, except for the Overleech mechanic, which might need some explanation. This build achieves Overleech using the Petrified Blood tech, so you'll need more unreserved life than your low life threshold. In other words, we need to reserve just under 50% of our life. Since this build reserves life for Herald of Purity, we'll need at least a level 22 Arrogant support gem, which can be challenging to achieve. Fortunately, our core unique item, Bitterbind Point, can have the Veiled modifier +2 to level of socketed support gems. You'll need to unveil this modifier on the shield to enable Overleech. This build utilizes Doryani's prototype, the unique armor that provides massive damage by setting nearby enemies' lightning resistance equal to yours. Thanks to reflected rings, we can easily achieve -200% lightning resistance, maximizing the damage potential. However, we need to address the downside of this armor, as it makes incoming lightning damage extremely dangerous. To mitigate this, the build uses specific jewels to shift 50% of lightning damage taken to cold damage. The remaining lightning damage from hits is mitigated by armor. As for lightning damage over time, it's handled with the Lethe Shade Keystone, combined with the build's substantial regeneration and leech mechanics. Let's take a look at how I scale the damage of Absolution of Inspiring to reach your boss deleting levels, aside from the damage buffs from Spectres and the negative lightning resistance provided by Doryani's prototype. 1. Gem level. Thanks to the minion tag on Absolution, I've managed to raise the gem to level 31 through various gem level modifiers on gear. Higher gem levels not only increase Absolution's damage, but also extend its base radius, making it easy to achieve screen-wide AoE with Awakened Spell Cascade and increased area of effect support. 2. Minion damage. Most of the minion damage comes from gear and the passive tree. And fortunately, I couldn't find a good Elegant Hubris at this stage of the league. This timeless jewel grants access to Slum Lord notables, which provide 80% increased minion damage. However, the build still has more than enough damage even without it. 3. Cast speed. Since this build uses Spell Echo, it needs at least 90% increased cast speed to feel smooth. Most of the cast speed is obtained from gear. 4. Critical strike scaling. The build easily caps critical strike chance thanks to Bitterbind Point and the Righteous Providence Ascendancy notable. The focus then shifts to maximizing critical strike multiplier through gear, passives, and Assassin's Mark. Additionally, the build takes advantage of powerful damage multipliers like Pain Attunement and Righteous Fire, thanks to its massive regeneration and high fire resistance. Maintaining Righteous Fire is effortless. Finally, Absolution can overlap its explosions for massive damage. By aiming slightly off target, it's easy to achieve 2 overlaps, while 3 overlaps require more precise aiming. Against very large targets like Kitava, 4 or even 5 overlaps are possible, resulting in enormous burst damage. With all these layers of scaling combined, the build delivers incredible DPS while maintaining solid utility and survivability. If you can't get the lightning damage leech implicit on your helmet, you'll need to obtain that modifier on your gloves instead of the damage conversion modifier. Use this Watcher's Eye when running maps with heavy critical strike modifier mods. For details on other items, please refer to my POB. For flasks, the Ruby Flask and Sapphire Flask are mandatory. The other flask can be adjusted based on the content you're tackling or the map modifiers. Here's my passive tree. If you prefer more damage, you can unallocate the block nodes and invest points in the Throat Seeker wheel instead. The build remains very tanky even with this adjustment. Swap Concentrated Effect with Awaken increased area of effect for better clearing while mapping. To be honest, this build already has so much damage that I only use Concentrated Effect when fighting uber bosses or heavily buffed T17 bosses. For anyone concerned about Spectre survivability, they are nearly immortal thanks to massive regeneration from Pious Path, 87% elemental resistances, plenty of life from gem levels, and extra S provided by the Grave Intentions notable. To be honest, The only time my Spectres have died was due to the T17 map modifier. Rare and unique monsters remove % of life, mana, and energy shield on hit, so it's best to avoid that mod. Regarding map mods, this build can handle almost all of them. The only combination that breaks the build is less recovery paired with no leech. However, you should also steer clear of some annoying map mods, such as deal no damage every few seconds, reduced aura effect, or reduced action speed when using a skill, as they can significantly disrupt gameplay. For leveling, you can absolutely league start this build. Absolution is incredibly strong even at early levels. Begin with Magma Orb and Flame Wall, and you can switch to Absolution as soon as level 12, or continue with Magma Orb depending on your preference. Focus on getting to Spiritual Aid and picking up all the minion nodes in that area. This will make the campaign a breeze. Keep using Absolution until you acquire the Tankier Unix, Bitterbind Point and Wraithlord, at which point you can transition to Absolution of Inspiring. For your weapon, use Dark Seer until you find a decent one to upgrade. That's it. I'll create a detailed guide on how to league start this build and outline the gear progression before the release of 3.26. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video.
gone. You will know pain. Be gone. I will bathe this world in blood. Impressive, but futile. Inevitable.